Welcome to the PreSnap Podcast presented by LineStar. This is a look at your Thursday night football game. We'll be taking a look at your daily fantasy forecast for this Thursday night matchup. We'll also be looking at prop bets, give you our touchdown calls. We will give you our game picks, sports betting analysis, and also some injuries to report as well. Chargers at Chiefs, AFC West showdown. Of course, the Chiefs have basically dominated the AFC West for a while, but the Chargers have taken it to them, especially at Arrowhead, over the past couple years.
I'm excited about this game. This might be the best Thursday night game of the year. Could be.
Yes.
What do you think?
I was at the Thursday night game last year, Chargers-Chiefs, when it was at SoFi Stadium. That game, you might remember, Patrick Mahomes went down in the final minute to tie the game up. It went to overtime. Yes. Coin flip, went to the Chiefs, and sure enough, they scored. Travis Kelce touchdown, game over. So that essentially was a pivotal game for the Chargers because they ended up losing a playoff spot after that. Had they won that game, they would have been in control of the AFC West.
They also would have probably had the playoffs if they didn't call a timeout against the Raiders, but whatever.
You could say that their season went downhill after that coin toss.
It is very true. It did.
So speaking of this matchup, though, both teams looking much different than last year.
Yes.
For the Chiefs, they're without the cheetah. However, in week one, Patrick Mahomes proved he doesn't need the cheetah. He's got 9 other receivers that caught passes from him in week one against the Cardinals. They looked really good. 44-21 was the final there, and Mahomes threw 5 touchdown passes.
I do think the Cardinals are going to do that to a lot of teams where they make the other team look really good. Cardinals look terrible. They have no pass rush. Without J.J. Watt, they're in big-time trouble on defense.
In your opinion, you said that they looked a lot better having faced the Cardinals. Was that just a matter of the Cardinals just looking bad and basically losing it? Or because it did make the Chiefs look really good. In fact, you know, they're a 4.5-point favorite at home, which is not too surprising. 3.5 is usually for the home team in that, but a lot of money going to the Chiefs in this one. Yeah,
it is very surprising me, though, that much money is going to the Chiefs in this. So I think the Cardinals made the Chiefs look better than they are. They are obviously still a solid team, but I don't know if I totally buy in.
All right, well, we'll get to our game picks later in the show. We do have to talk about some crucial injury reports, and we're going to go to SixScore.com for that. The Pro Football Docs there giving us their analysis on some of these injuries. Now, for the Chargers, we're looking at a SixScore of 91.7. Wide receiver Keenan Allen ruled out in this one. Huge blow to that offense. Tight end Donald Parham Jr. out as well. Cornerback J.C. Jackson is questionable, although Pro Football Docs at SixScore.com, they're optimistic that he will be able to play in this one. But nonetheless, if J.C. Jackson is in, that's a huge plus for the defense.
For sure.
Then we're looking at the Chiefs, SixScore of 93. A huge loss for them this past weekend as Harrison Butker is out.
And this is a big one, too, because it may or it will change their approach when they have the ball and, maybe be a little more aggressive on fourth down.
Sure. Butker was the kicker who got carted off after suffering an ankle injury. He was slipping while kicking, and Andy Reid blamed that loose sod at State Farm Stadium. So it will be the journeyman, Pat Amendola, who will be taking over that. So that's a look at your injuries. Pretty crucial, though, with Keenan Allen out. And when they played the Raiders, they got shut out in the fourth quarter when Keenan Allen wasn't playing. So it's a little,
Yeah, I mean, Keenan is their go-to. He is their possession guy. He's the one that Herbert knows he can count on. Snap in and snap out. So he's the go-to. It's a huge loss for sure.
Speaking of Justin Herbert, he is our top projected quarterback, though just by a hair. So we're looking at two gunslingers here.
They're pretty much the same projection. On FanDuel, Mahomes slightly outweighs Herbert.
That's true, yes.
So
basically, you're looking at the same projection for each. Now, I'm sure a lot of people plugging them into their lineup. What do you make of where you go for this quarterback spot?
I like Herbert more. I think the Chiefs' defense is a lot worse than the Chargers' defense. So really comes down to that. Both quarterbacks are exceptional. The one thing that I do really need to bring up here is that so far what we've seen with these single game slates is the quarterbacks have been way too high owned in the captain spot. I personally don't like playing quarterbacks in that captain spot unless I think the only way they really become optimal is if they have a rushing touchdown, which both these guys are capable of doing. I'm just not projecting it, not when those two quarterbacks are also likely the high owned captains.
So the high ownership kind of makes you look elsewhere for all
for
of these.
Captain, yes. I will play probably one of them, in a lot of my lineups.
Do you think people will lean more towards Patrick Mahomes given the fact that Keenan Allen was ruled out?
Yes, some may.
Okay.
Some may.
But not significantly, given that both are kind of projected similarly.
Exactly. And I think Herbert has plenty of other options to go to. It's not like losing Keenan was also losing, like 80% of his target share or something like that. But
let's take a look at running backs here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Austin Eckler in this one. Both pretty good options, although Austin Eckler, I'm thinking he's going to get some receptions in this one. What do you think about each one in terms of daily fantasy?
Both of them had a similar amount of snap share for their teams, which is kind of interesting. Clyde Edwards-Helaire a little bit lower than Eckler, but we know Eckler is just an absolute beast. He's going to get as much work as he can handle. You're right, the reception should be there without Keenan because Eckler's going to be, one of the next go-tos now without Keenan. So,
in terms of rushing defense, this Chargers defense ranked 30th last year. They made a lot of improvements, though.
It should be much improved.
So do you think that factors in at all when you're looking at this matchup and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, for example, in this one?
It totally does. Looking at last year's numbers, I would totally think to want to play Clyde Edwards-Helaire, knowing that they added Khalil Mack. They are getting healthy again on D. Makes me not like him quite as much.
Okay.
I think he is a little expensive, so I have a little apprehension for him.
All right, wide receiver. We're looking at Mike Williams. We're also looking at Joshua Palmer, Juju Smith-Schuster. Those are the top projections in this one. Obviously, Mike Williams and Joshua Palmer get the boost with Keenan Allen being out. So are you sold on those two guys getting a good share of targets?
Yeah, I like both of them. Williams, I think, should get probably hyper targeted in this. I don't think that the Chiefs secondary is going to be really able to slow him down or keep him under wraps. So I really like Williams today. Palmer, we're not totally sure what we have in him. Last year he looked solid. Last game he didn't do too much, but we've had a lot of good reviews out of camp from him. So I think he should be fine in this game. Also, don't forget that DeAndre Carter played a ton once Keenan got hurt last week. And Guyton only played 7% of snaps last week. But if you are looking for a sleeper, high upside guy, he is that. He can go deep, and Herbert has had a lot of success with him going deep. So
Chiefs defense last year ranked 27th against the pass. Do you think they got better?
No.
They were young, and they're still a little bit young.
Yeah, I don't think they got any better on in their pass defense. I'm very surprised that Murray wasn't able to do more against him last week.
Yeah.
Because I just really don't believe in the Chiefs D.
All right.
So.
How about the Chargers defense when you're looking at evaluating some of the Chiefs wide receivers, specifically guys like Juju Smith-Schuster? What do you think about the opportunity there for them in this daily fantasy?
So the Chiefs wide receiver room is really interesting to me. I just went through and looked at the snap counts. Surprisingly, MVS played the most snaps out of any of their wide receivers. He had 71%, Juju 64%, Hardman 54%, Watson 22%, and Sky Moore down at 18%. So Moore was the last. However, Pro Football Focus did have Sky Moore as the highest graded rookie wide receiver.
I know he was a popular pickup for a lot of season-long fantasy leagues as well.
Yeah.
So are these guys, given the fact that Mahomes targeted 9 different guys, are they still worth it from a daily fantasy perspective, given that there's going to likely be kind of spreading the wealth mentality on offense?
He is going to spread the wealth, but I think most games there's going to be one matchup that continues to win. And that's kind of what I expect here today, with this Thursday night game, is that one of these guys are going to be the common denominator here in like success for the Chiefs. Now, I don't personally think it's going to be MVS. The Chargers have some good safeties, so I think they'll be able to keep the top on the defense there to keep him from getting deep, and that's really how he's going to beat you. So I'd be really looking at Juju or Hardman.
Okay. Let's move on to tight end. No surprise here. Travis Kelce is our top projected tight end in this one. He's also pretty pricey as well, but 5-star alert for him in this one. Given, I'm guessing ownership will be high on him.
Absolutely.
Given that, is he worth, I guess, the price tag, given the ownership is going to be high as well?
He's totally worth the price tag. The Chargers haven't been great against tight end. He was going to be my touchdown call, but I just kind of thought it was too chalky, too easy, so went elsewhere here. But he's in a great spot. He should get a ton of targets, and the offense is really funneled through him.
Who are the other tight ends you're targeting for daily fantasy?
So obviously Gerald Everett. I think that he's going to get a little more, few more targets here without Keenan. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting was Trey McKitty. He's super cheap, and he played almost as many snaps as Everett. And not only did he play as many or close to as many snaps, he actually was targeted more often than Everett was in week 1. Everett obviously had the bigger game, but McKitty got, a lot of attention from Herbert. And without Keenan there, he's kind of interesting for a low-owned, cheap kind of flyer.
Yeah, that price tag.
Yeah.
Worth that, and then piling up on some of the other guys. Taking a look at the defenses here. Chiefs are actually higher projected. I was surprised about that. What do you make of the projections we have, how you think it'll play out, and then who you would go with ownership-wise? Kind of a triple-barreled question there.
Yeah, so one thing, I think that the Chiefs are just higher projected here, mainly because right now they are projected to win the game. So the Chargers offense obviously would have less points than the Chiefs, giving that projection a little bit higher for the Chiefs D. Now, don't really love either defense. However, if I had to play one of them, I absolutely be playing the Chargers. So, like I said, I just don't believe in that Chiefs defense. I think the Chargers have too many weapons and too many ways to hurt the D.
Yeah, they got a lot of weapons. Khalil Mack is looking scary next to Joey Bosa, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's not even including the secondary. Like they have legit stars on their team now.
Last season, when they beat them at Arrowhead, was when they really got to Patrick Mahomes. They forced a couple interceptions out of him, and the more pressure it seems like you get on Patrick Mahomes, the more he starts trying to force things, and he throws into coverage a lot.
And that's what the Cardinals could not do. Remember, they didn't have J.J. Watt. They lost Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones was their pass rush last year, so they just had no push up front.
So good test for Patrick Mahomes and a pretty good litmus test to see where each team is at in this one. From a kicker's perspective, though, things are looking not good for the Chiefs as they lost Harrison Butker. It'll be Matt Amendola for them. On the other side, Dustin Hopkins seems like, I guess, the best bet. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's kind of a coin toss, I guess.
mean, he's got to be the best bet. Hopkins, not really sure what they're going to do with Amendola yet on the site. So
yeah, who knows though.
Mm-hmm.
So those are your daily fantasy projections for our Thursday night game. Remember, you can get all of that information on the LineStar app, linestarapp.com. We also have your lineup optimizer there as well, and a new tool called Props Edge that will help you find the best edge for sports betting and for your prop bets. Make sure to check it out, linestarapp.com. And if you're following us and watching us on YouTube right now, be sure to like this video if you're enjoying our content and subscribe to our channel. Also, comment below if you have any questions about your daily fantasy lineup. We will get back to you and help you out. We'll try to win some money on this Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get to our, if I can find it in my notes, let's get to our touchdown calls of the game. Who are you going with for your touchdown call?
I'm going with the Chiefs wide receiver, Mecole Hardman. So I expect the Chargers to really focus on Kels on Juju, leaving Hardman, who has the most red zone attempts over the last few weeks on the Chiefs, even beating out good old Travis Kelce. So I think Hardman gets in the end zone. Chargers aren't going to pay as much attention to him. So it's his.
Look at you picking a Georgia Bulldog. I'm so proud.
Oh, did I?
I'm so proud.
I didn't even know.
I am going with Austin Eckler. I picked him last week. He didn't have a touchdown. However, I'm going back to him. I need that, guitar celebration in the end zone in this one. He's had a touchdown in each game against the Chiefs last season. He had either a rushing touchdown or a receiving touchdown in 12 of 16 games last season. And in 2021, the Chiefs allowed the third most receiving yards to running backs. And with Keenan Allen out, I see a lot more opportunities for him to incorporate him into that game plan in the passing game. As we know, he's a good pass catcher as well. Also, along that note, his prop for receiving is over 4.5 receptions. Kind of like the over there as well.
I like it.
Yes or
I
no?
like it.
Are you just being nice?
Oh, I love the touchdown
Okay.
call. Yeah, I mean,
Receptions.
he's always
Yeah,
he's always got a chance for that.
I'll even do the guitar celebration if he gets a touchdown.
Book it. Let's do it.
All right, prop bets for today's game.
We're going Mike Williams over 69.5 yards. It's up minus 115. Without Keenan Allen, Mike Williams is the clear number one target for Herbert. KC has a poor defense. Williams should just be hyper targeted in this game. He averaged 16 yards per reception last year, actually for his career. And he only needs 5 catches to hit that yardage prop. The line that we have on him for receptions is 5.5. So sportsbooks think he's going to get 5. I think 69.5 is just too low.
I'm going to Patrick Mahomes under 20.5 rush yards. That's at minus 135. In 2021, he had an average of 22. Our projection for this game is 16.4. Now, he had just 5 against Arizona. And last year against the Chargers, yeah, granted, Mahomes had 32 and 45 respectively. But this is a much different defense that got a huge makeover with the addition of Khalil Mack. And looking at that, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa coming at you. I don't see how he gets to 21 in this one. So I'm going under in this one on that. Mahomes prop. Let's go. Let's get our props. Let's get that money.
Do it. I can't believe you picked an under.
I know.
Wow.
It's against my nature, but
yeah, it is.
Got to do it in this one. All right, your game picks for this game. First, let's go over some of where things are at. Chargers plus 150 on the money line. KC minus 178. We've got a spread of 3.5. This has been moving a little bit. I believe it moved to 4.5. Minus 114 on Chargers. Minus 106 for the Chiefs. Then our total is 53.5. So, first, where are you going with your game pick for this one?
I love the money line at plus 150 for the Chargers.
Right.
I'm hitting that all day long.
Yeah, that minus 178 is not something I want to mess around with.
No.
I also don't want to mess with the spread there either because I feel like it could potentially be a close game. But I'm definitely, the value is definitely with Chargers on the money line. I'm also liking the Chargers in this one as well. Granted, it's at Arrowhead, but the Chargers haven't had any problems with that before, and they're much improved defense. Like you mentioned at the top of the show, I'm not sure what exactly they proved against that mediocre Cardinals team that just didn't look good. So how much of that is Patrick Mahomes being really good, which we know he is? Yeah. How much of that is the Cardinals defense being kind of poor this season? I think this is a tough test for Patrick Mahomes. We'll really see Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa getting after him in this one. He's going to be under pressure. Even with Keenan Allen out, I did hesitate a little bit on this call because I do think that there's something to be said for Keenan Allen being out. Absolutely. In their game against the Raiders. They got shut out without Allen in the fourth quarter there. However, they could have gotten a little complacent when they had the lead there. I'm still leaning to Justin Herbert and that Chargers offense. But I think it's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
My thing here is that, so generally a home field advantage is like 3 points. So they're saying on a neutral field, Chiefs still win by 0.5, which that just doesn't seem right to me. I think this Charger team is better than that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they must know something.
I mean, they know everything.
That game total, 53.5. Are you inclined to go over or under in this one?
I'm inclined to go under.
I am as well. I think it's very high.
It is a very high total. Not that many games go over 53.5. These two offenses absolutely can do it. And the Chargers kind of do get a little aggressive. Like we talked about, the Chiefs could get a little aggressive. You know, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely the ways to go over in this game, but if I'm betting it, I'm hitting under.
It's been high-scoring affairs, that Thursday night game when they face each other. The last time I believe that went over there. And I don't know. I just think it's very high, and especially given the fact that the Chargers defense is much improved.
Yeah. I wouldn't be betting it, though. I wouldn't be betting the over-under on this.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really like betting the games like this. I don't think there's that much edge in.
But it's so fun.
It is. It is. But I think there's way more edge in betting the player props than there is on the game as a whole.
Sure. Remember, Tyler was just talking about props. Be sure to check out our Props Edge tool on LineStar. That's linestarapp.com. Remember to get your subscription, $29.99 per month, which is a great deal considering not only are you getting your lineup optimizer with daily fantasy, all the information you need to dominate in fantasy, and also just if you're a fan of the game, want to know a little bit more and do your research, it's a great tool there. And you get the Props Edge tool, which will help you tremendously in placing your bets, your prop bets, all the information that tells you what the best edge is in that prop market, which is super helpful for us too, trying to pick these props. So check that out. And if you're watching us here on YouTube, make sure to like this video if you're enjoying our content, and be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with all the videos that we've got coming out. That's going to do it for us today. Go Bolts? Are we going Bolts?
I guess go Bolts.
All right.
It hurts me to say it after they ditched San Diego, but.
All right. We will see you guys. Enjoy the game.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.